Good afternoon, all.
Afternoon, sir.
Only 34 participants have joined till now. Shall we wait for some time or we can start with our session?
Sir, wait for 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
अच्छा I think we should start now. Let others join meanwhile. Okay.
நான் தானே பண்ணேன். பிரசன்னா ஒண்ணும் இல்லடா. மாமா வந்து வீட்டுல வந்து வண்டி எடுத்துட்டு போயிட்டாங்களா? சரிடா, நான் அதான் டாக்டர் வீட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு வந்தேன். அதான் அம்மாட்ட சொல்றதுக்காக என்ன பண்ணாங்கன்னு சொல்றது. நல்லா இருக்கான் கஞ்சு, ப்ராப்ளம் இல்ல. அது ஏதோ இப்ப 1 வீக்குக்கு வந்து கட்டு போட்டிருக்காங்க. 1 வீக் கழிச்சு பார்த்துட்டு டிசைட் பண்றேன்னு இருக்காங்க. மைல்டா கிராக் இருக்கான், வேற ஒன்றும் சொல்லல. அந்த பஞ்ச் பண்ணி பிளட் எடுக்கும்.
Am I visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
the post-lunch session of today is dedicated to demonstrating decision making. We have been discussing about since the beginning of the FDP different sessions: decision making in teams, decision making at work, at home, ethical decision making, need of strategy or strategizing in decision making, as well as role of decision making, the techniques of decision making. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about demonstration of decision making. What do you mean by demonstrating? What do you understand by demonstration? I would like you to share your views on this. What do you mean by demonstration?
Showcasing.
Yes. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else that you would like to?
Get an example
I would like
of how you are taking decisions.
I get noise. Can you please mute your, if those who are not? Those who are not speaking, please mute yourself. Okay, now I can access the chat box. Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Okay. To the response. Sorry. So by performing, Vikas Kumar. Sorry. Vikas Kumar says that it is so by performing. Vikas sir, can you please elaborate on this? What do you understand and what do you mean by performing? So by performing.
I mean, if I'm explaining, I'm saying some steps to do a particular thing. Like I tell somebody to how to do this, solve this problem, how to do multiplication, for example. So I will take an example and I will solve before my students or whoever is the class and see what are the process and steps,
Okay.
and so they will understand. Or in lab, some experiment is done, so I will do it before them, and so they will understand what I mean prima facie.
Okay. Okay. So you are giving an example from the experience as a teacher, what you have been doing in your classroom when the students are not able to solve any particular problem. So you go and demonstrate it in the blackboard or whatever means, maybe in the white chalkboard. You
Or in the
demonstrate it,
lab, or in
or
the
in the lab.
lab.
Okay, got it. Okay, good. So Dr. Priyanka Sethi, you say that providing insight of the work. What do you understand by this? Providing insight of the work. How do you relate it to demonstrating?
Sir, thank you. So when we talk about providing insight of the work,
You are not audible, madam. Can you please just raise the volume of your system that you're using right now? Priyanka madam, are you there? Okay, I think we have lost connection with Priyanka madam. Okay, Purnima Dwivedi. Purnima madam, can you please tell us what do you understand by sow, to sow something? In this context, am I audible?
Audible, sir, audible.
Yes, sir. Because without, when you are speaking to a computer screen and without response, sometimes you are in a doubt, you are in a fix whether you are audible or not, the network is or not. Okay. So, Purnima madam, can you please tell us what do you understand by to sow something if you are there? Because even when you go to a showroom, the salesperson show you different products. So can that be taken as demonstrating? Saraswati Sonti. Saraswati madam, you have written in the chat box that it's practical knowledge. Which practical knowledge you are mentioning about? Can you please elaborate on it?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
I'm a KG teacher. As
Yes.
a KG teacher, I used to narrate the stories to the children.
Okay.
For example, if I narrate the story, the greedy dog story,
Okay.
in that story, the dog sees the bone in the water also. But
Yes.
children, they may not understand if I say orally.
Okay.
Then I will fill the tub with a full of water, and
Okay.
then just I will make a dog puppet and the
Okay.
bone, and then just I will demo the story to the children. Then they will understand what is the shadow. Like that, I will go on, sir.
Okay, very good. So you are implementing demonstration in your classroom. Very good.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, very good. Good job. Um, then practical, even Sonali Gomes madam says the same thing, practical application of your decisions. Sonali madam, are you going with Saraswati madam, or you have got some other points to share with us?
Well, sir, I think what impact my decisions will bring in practical life, I
Okay,
think that is actually, I mean, I think it is actually demonstrating decision making.
okay, okay.
You know, what impact it will bring.
To others' life. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now we are now just see the thing is that it has been my approach in each and every session, whether it is an FTP or regular classroom teaching. I try to divide the phrase into words. So right now we are only discussing about demonstrating or demonstration. I am not going into decision making, because until unless you understand the importance or the relevance or the meaning of the word demonstration or demonstrating, you will not be able to pick what is demonstrating decision making. That's why right now I'm concentrating only on demonstration, on the first word, demonstrating. Okay. So Sunny says that presenting and showcasing to others. Okay, Sunny sir or Sunny madam, I'm really confused, because many of the participants are also confused from the very beginning. Sunny sir, okay. Because many of the participants are confused whether I'm a sir or madam. I mean, still now, I don't know whether they are attending the sessions or
I
not.
also thought, madam.
Yes.
From your name initially, I also thought, madam.
Yeah, obviously,
Sir,
but
me too. Me too.
not only one or two fingertip. Many of you thought, but my name is Meenakshi Prasad. Somehow it is being separated. It has been separated. My name is Meenakshi Prasad, not Meenakshi. So that is the confusion that creates. Fine. So Sunny sir, what you want to tell here by presenting and showcasing to others? What is your view? If you like to share with us.
Basically, what decision I am taking, so I'm trying to present and showcase to others on what basis I am arriving at that particular decision.
Okay.
So maybe demonstrating decision making will mean that. I'm not sure.
No, see, nothing is absolute in this world. Okay, so you can be really happy with whatever. I understand what you want to convey, presenting and showcasing to others. I understood it. Only thing is that I wanted to hear it from you, so that all the participants can hear it from you, and we can have an interactive session.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tajinder Kaur madam says attendance. Madam, does it have anything to do with our demonstration, this class, or you want to sign in, give the attendance, and then run away? Your school bus is you're going to miss your school bus, or you're going to miss your anything to do with this session, or only you want the attendance for the session? It will be sad. I think the admin must be busy in taking his lunch, so he will be sharing it. Don't worry. Okay. Then Dr. Priyanka. Yeah, Dr. Priyanka Setia, you wanted to say something?
Yes, sir. Am I audible now?
Yeah, quite
Okay.
clear and loud. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So as I just said about demonstrating decision making is to provide the insight about your work. So as just said by Sunny sir, that whenever we have to perform any action, there can be the multiple options which we can opt for. So for example, a very common example that we all use every day in life, that is the Google Map. So whenever we have to look for any place where we have to visit, we have n number of options from the directions that we can follow. So it is on us, based on the the distance and the other factors, where we make out the decision that which route I need to follow. So sir, I think that can be taking as an insight to complete or to travel to that particular place.
Okay, but don't trust Google Map always.
Definitely, sir. It's just an example.
Okay. Yeah, I would request all the participants who are speaking, at least at that time, you can switch on your video so that we can feel like interacting. Otherwise, it feels okay. I'm looking at the blank screen and the voice is coming out of it. I believe and I always keep my video on. Whenever you are interacting, at least for that moment, I understand there is an issue of data and other things. Okay. Then Rekha Chauhan, madam, would you like to add something to it? You have written me too. This is a very, very controversial statement though. Rekha madam, are you there? Okay, I think she's not there. Anita Singh madam, explaining the end product of the decision. We are, as I said, Anita madam, we have not yet gone to decision making, but still explaining the end product of the decision taken can be a way of demonstrating decision making. Okay, demonstrating the entire process through explaining how the process flows step by step to reach the goal. Vallavanini Silpa. Vallavanani madam, if you are there, would you like to elaborate on this? What exactly you want to convey? What, did I lose my connection?
No, you're audible, Meenakshi sir. I was just saying that, maybe explaining what the impact is going to be, is that a way of demonstrating decision making? Like what the decision is, if I explain the impact on the audience or the receiver of what it is going to be. It's just a thought that is there in my mind.
Okay. So we have been discussing about what is the meaning of demonstration. What happens many times, because we live in a democratic country and from our early childhood, we have been seeing demonstrations, and whenever the word demonstration comes to a mind, particularly I grew up in a place where the place was very, very politically active. I won't name any party or won't name any government, but whenever there is a lot of political movement going on in the contemporary society, or you get to see many demonstrations. Okay, and because for that reason, many times we associate the word demonstration or demonstrating with political activities. Okay, some sort of strike, some sort of an rally, something like that. But unfortunately, demonstration is a very, very positive word. It has a lot of impact. It has got a lot of positivity into it. Okay, what is demonstration? Demonstration means proving your ability. You tell the world that I am able to do something. I can demonstrate it. Okay, demonstrating is making a point, proving your point. Okay, whatever I speak, it is correct. You assert yourself, you support yourself, and you are proving, you are presenting with people that okay, you are right in your approach. Okay, demonstration can also be facing challenges head on. Okay, demonstration is not limited to only proving your ability or making a point, but also facing the challenges. You have got the guts to face the challenges. You have got the courage to face the challenges. You have got the the willpower to go against the current. Okay, facing the challenges head on. You're ready to take charge. You're challenging. You are very, very energetic. Okay, and demonstration can also be being able to perform in difficult situations. Well, life is not a bed of roses. We all know that. So demonstration, the ability of demonstration, the meaning suggests that you are able to perform in difficult situations, because every time we are sometimes we are lack of time, sometimes we are lack of money, sometimes we are lack of energy, sometimes. So we are always surrounded by difficult situations. Nobody in this earth can say that I am in a very, very comfortable zone. Can anybody claim that in this session? Can anybody claim that I am very, very comfortable in my life and I don't have to really worry about anything? Can anybody claim like that? No, I don't think any one of you can claim that, okay, I am in a very, very comfortable situation. No. So we have to perform, the ability to perform in difficult situations. Okay. Then adapting to fast-paced changes. Demonstration is also adapting to fast-paced changes, because we are exposed to changes in such a faster manner. We never knew that life is going to be like this. Because I clearly remember when I was in my post-graduation, at that time, There was nothing called mobile phone. We never knew what is a mobile phone. But slowly we found that mobile phone has become a part of our life after 10 years. Then now after another 10 years down the line, what I find, smartphone has become a part of our life. If you don't know how to manage a smartphone, how to operate a smartphone, how to take the services of a smartphone to your benefit, then you will be called an unfit person in today's date. 2 years back, till 2 years back, we were not very comfortable with, because in our college we have been running NPTEL courses for the last 5 years. NPTEL courses are online courses. So NPTEL courses used to have a special position in any academic forum. So I'm sure most of you in some of your colleges NPTEL courses must be running. It is being run by IIT Chennai. So IIT Chennai used to take a lot of pride. And now you see, because of the pandemic, we are conducting online classes for the last 2 years. And our first version was only available was Google Meet or Google Classroom. Then came in Zoom, then came in MS Teams, then came in WebEx, then came in GoToMeet. So many platforms are available. Now there is a lot of competition in this field also. So you have to adapting to fast-paced changes. Okay. That is also demonstration. So then presenting your skills, not only adapting, not only proving, but presenting your skills, telling people that you have got a particular skill. You conveying it to people that, okay, you have got these skills, you can do this, you can. Okay, that is also part of demonstration. So, and last but not the least, because there are I could have added another 20 points to this word demonstration. This is a very, very positive word. So surging ahead of others. So when you are demonstrating something, you are moving ahead of others. You're telling that, okay, what is the name of the javelin thrower who won the gold for India?
Neeraj Chopra.
Neeraj Chopra. Okay. So I was just so Neeraj Chopra. So he surged ahead of others. He demonstrated others that, okay, I have got the skill. Okay, I am for the timing, I'm maybe from a developed underdeveloped country or a developing country, but I have got the willpower to win gold for our country. So it is demonstration, surging ahead of others. Okay, so demonstration or demonstrating has a wider scope. When we talk about demonstrating, you should not think or consider or take or weigh it as a narrow scope of mind. It has got a wider scope. When you think demonstration means you are going to do a lot of things. You can. There is a possibility you can. Okay. So did you understand? Have you got any questions about what do I want to convey? The meaning of demonstration. Any questions?
Sir, understood.
Yeah, thank you. So I need this sort of response, because we all are teachers. Okay, when we are teaching a class inside the classroom, we need some sort of what you can say, support or backup or seconding. Okay, somebody need to second us, otherwise it feels uncomfortable. Thank you very much. So before we move ahead, because we have been discussing about decision making, and the rest of the sessions are also dedicated to decision making, rather than focusing, because I'm definitely going to share the slides today after the end of all the sessions, but that's why I'm not focusing more on the slides. I have got the content in the slides, but let us make it more and more interactive. So I have got a task for you. The task is list out the events when you have had the opportunity to demonstrate decision making. I'm adding to demonstration, I'm adding decision making. So when I explain what is demonstration, so you must have understood what are the scope available for demonstration. So I would like you to list out the events when you had the opportunity to demonstrate decision making. Share your experience about the process. So where you had the opportunity to demonstrate decision making, and kindly share. Never mind whether it is a demonstration in your classroom when you are explaining a story of the greedy dog, or you had to demonstrate in a higher platform in the government level, or getting a project for your college, or getting a consultancy, or so any experience where you got the opportunity. I'm sure all of you, we are just not conscious about it, but I'm sure all of you have got opportunities to demonstrate decision making. So please kindly share your experiences about the process, and also please share the experience that you had to go through. Okay, not only the mere event. I am not only interested with the event. I am interested in the event. Plus, I'm interested in the experience that you have gained during the process. So I would like you to you can opt for either you can speak or you can simply chat. We can take 5 minutes, think about it, and then you can start responding. Can we do that?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Very good afternoon, madam.
Sir, you said that demonstration or demonstrating is assertion. Assertive means we are asserting something. Is it
Yes.
always that we are asserting something?
See, the thing is that we also assert negative things sometimes. Okay, so demonstration is not only assertion, but it is a step ahead. Assertion is the beginning of demonstration. Okay, we do go a step ahead. We perform also. Demonstration also requires performing. Demonstration also requires executing. Okay, so it is not limited to assertion.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, can we start with the discussion? Many of you are worried about the attendance link. I think my admin has not yet come back from lunch, so just you may have to wait for some more time. Please be patient. Then after you give your attendance, you may leave the class. Okay. Can we have a discussion, or you want to chat?
We can have discussion as well, sir.
Yeah. Please start with your discussion.
Sir, I can share an experience like being in
Madam,
teaching.
please. Yeah, thank you. Sipra madam is speaking. Yes.
Yes. Like I'm teaching 11th and 12th. So then we have to decide about the student council. So every year we have to nominate students for various positions and then shortlist and then decide. Though the ultimate authority does not lie with the teacher. After the whole process, students go through various rounds. And then we as teachers with the principal, we discuss that which student is suitable for which position. So various factors taken into account, his past record and how he performed today. And then, yes, the personal views about those students. So yeah, personal biases also play while taking a decision.
Okay. Yeah, we will come to that. We will definitely. You will have something in the slides, but personal views, how it becomes subjective, and biases, how biases affect our decisions. So your experience is that personal view and biases do influence the process of demonstrating decision making, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Sipra madam. Yeah. Anyone else who would like to share their experience or opportunity that they had in demonstrating decision making?
Yes, Dr. Meenakshi, can I speak?
Please kindly switch on your video so that we can see your.
Yeah, sure. Clear? I work in King's School as a school doctor.
Okay.
So there was this.
You are a practicing doctor. I understand that, physician.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. A doctor is participating in a session on decision making. Yeah. Good.
No, actually, I've done my homeopathy and I work in the school.
Okay.
Give my services to the school. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
because
basically, what I do is first aid and health education. But there was this incident when a child had an injury during the lunch break. No one had actually seen the child get the injury, but probably some kind of a head injury. the child, after the lunch break, probably walked to the class drowsy and sat in his place. And then he was not conscious about everything around. And when the teacher comes in, everyone stands up and everyone wishes the teacher. So he just wakes up from his kind of a comatose state. And then he walks to the class, and then he just passes urine and he falls there. And then I'm called into the scene. So I just remember that when you just mentioned about decision making, because it was quite a decision to take. When I called the parents, we brought the child down. First aid was given, but he was not conscious. So we knew that there was some kind of internal injury. We checked the cameras, but there was no, how do you check? Because the campus is area, what campus is large, what exactly happened. Nevertheless, we called the parents who were who had taken their parents, someone else to the hospital. So they were it was a situation when they couldn't come into the school. And they said, you do the needful. And they couldn't understand what exactly happened. At that time, some decision had to be taken. Knowing it was a head injury, we needed to go to a hospital with a CT scan, that kind of a facility. But the parents were not they gave a suggestion for different hospital. So so as you said, your ability, you need to prove your ability at that time. So they said you need better to take to a well-equipped hospital, because the child doesn't seem to be responsive at this time. So timely attention was given, and the child had a skull injury.
So sad.
It affected the brain. But yeah, so timely intervention was done. He was rescued. Yeah.
Very good. So you must have gone through a critical phase of your life, I guess, because when when the case is about a small child and having such a problematic, being in a problematic situation like this, it's really difficult to decide on what to do and what not to do. The Hamlet's dilemma that we were discussing in the last session. Okay, very good. I'm definitely going to cut this clip from the video that we are recording and send it to my parent-in-laws, because both my parent-in-laws are doctors. So I would like to share with them that, see, there are doctors who have registered for my FDP. Okay. Thank you, madam. Anyone else? Yeah, I think.
Sir.
Yes, madam, please. Please.
Sir, myself from the Maharaja Sayajirao University of Vadodara.
Vadodara, wow, MS University Vadodara.
Yes.
You work there as a?
Sir, I'm working there in the Department of Electrical Engineering. I'm working as a lecturer there. And my experience, I would like to just share one thing, that whenever students select this branch of engineering, very few students select this as a first choice. Because most of the students, what they feel that the criteria is either the college or the peer pressure or parent pressure, they select the branch. So they don't understand what is their future. Okay, so whether the decision is right or wrong. Even at the beginning also, after completion of 12th, the students are a bit confused to take a decision which branch is to be selected. So in that case, what we do, we demonstrate or we present some success stories or the opportunities, career prospects related to the various branches. And I think this demonstration, this is one of the example of demonstrate decision making.
Okay. MS University Baroda has got a direct link. I have got a direct link with MS University Baroda because my guide's guide worked there as an emeritus professor for for a longer period of time. The Professor Dr. Prafulla Kara, if you have heard his name.
Sorry, we have 14 faculties actually and more than 100 departments. So
yeah, I know. You might not be aware of. I have been to MS University Baroda only once. Okay. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you, sir.
We are selecting the Arangam sir says that we are selecting the students for remedial classes, we need to take into consideration a lot of factors while selecting the students, like marks criterion, parental support, performance in all subjects. How do you think this is related to the demonstrating decision making? What exactly you do? Because I think in this selecting students for remedial classes, you have got parameters, it is already laid down, and you just need to compile those parameters and get it done, because nowadays remedial classes has become a part of the system, particularly with AICT, UGC, everybody is interested in enforcing that. So how do you think there is some demonstration of decision making? I would like to know your experience. I'm not discarding you. Arangam sir. Arangam sir, are you there?
Sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Actually, what happens, sir, when we are selecting the students for this remedial classes, and at that time, sir, we have to take so many factors into consideration. That is where the decision becomes sometimes very difficult, sir. We have to keep in mind emotional factors of the students also.
Yeah.
So, like for example, sir, so like for example, one student is there. So he may feel like he's okay. So he's branded as a remedial student. So
I
at
know.
that time we have to convince him. So so these are the reasons why your name is given in the remedial list, and so we have to convince him. Okay, so we're keeping lot of factors in mind, sir, before preparing the list. Sir.
Yeah.
And what happens is sometimes, okay, so sometimes what happens is school management will give us that, okay, so, okay, see, they will give us the thing like we have to prepare the parameters on which we have to select the students for the remedial classes.
Okay.
And within the short period of time, we have to select the students.
Yeah. That is the basic reason why I asked you this question, because we also sometimes face this, emotional dilemma, because the students generally, those students who are strong-minded, they take it easily. They don't mind whether they understand their abilities or their limitations. But
Yes,
there are
sir.
times very emotional and very touchy.
Emotional and sensitive.
Sensitive and touchy. Very touchy
Yes,
and
yes,
very
sir.
sensitive. Yeah, they take it as an offense, or they are not able to lift their head. They take it as a same, and it needs a lot of counseling. Okay.
Yes, sir.
And to tell them, to convey them that no, this is for your betterment. Don't think that remedial classes are a sort of punishment or you're being degraded into something. It's very difficult. It's a very dicey thing to do in a college situation. Okay.
Yes, sir. Absolutely right, sir.
Yes, I understand that. Okay. Thank
Thank you,
you,
sir.
Mr. Arangam. Yeah, some again, Salin Pankaj Varsane attendance link has been said. All those who were eagerly waiting for attendance link, हमारी मांगे पूरी करो, attendance link जल्दी share करो. हो गया, it's there for you. Okay, I think my admin is back from lunch. Okay, so yes, here we have to consider the emotional factors of the students. Okay, so anyone else would like to share their experience, or they have the process they have gone through an event, or we can move ahead with the slides. Okay, I think no one else is interested to. Okay, so demonstrating decision making requires decision making skills. Without a particular skill set, you cannot demonstrate decision making. Decision making skills are regarded as a core skill which is sought by almost all the employers for all sorts of jobs. It is the proficiency to select the best between two or more alternatives without consuming much of the time, energy, and resources, as well as giving reasons that assertively supports your decision. So decision-making skill is not only taking the decision, it is not just taking the decision, but it is the like the after sales service. When you go and buy a product, only buying the product is not sufficient, because there are numerous products available in the market. So similarly, you can take any decision, but after you have taken a decision, what happens? What comes out? Okay, what is the repercussion? What is the after sales service? Okay, how much time you consume, how much energy you are consuming, how much resources are gone into it. Okay, and giving reasons, you have to give yourself reasons that assertively supports your decision. So this, you need to develop the skill, because excuse me, I'm sorry, I've been sitting just below an AC for the last 6 hours. So not only you have to take the decision, but also assertively support it. You must give yourself the patting, you must support yourself, otherwise and that is what a decision making skill is. Decision making skill also includes the ability to steer out from difficult situations with ease and assertion, as we have already discussed about in the meaning of ability in the word demonstration. It is a continuous activity in an organization or in personal life. So decision making, I was overhearing some other speakers in this FDP. It's always a continuous process. It never stops. Okay, like our mind never stops. Every time it never stops. Whether I will continue the session or I shall take a break. Whether I will go for a toilet break, or I will go and do this administrative work. So every moment we take a lot of decisions. It's a continuous process. Either you are in an organization working as a professional, or in your personal life. Every time, okay, it is the capability of an individual to make informed decisions. Decision making skill is the capability of an individual to make informed decisions. What do you mean by informed decisions? Informed decision means you collecting all the information and then compiling the information, analyzing the information, and taking a decision, rather than taking a decision blindly. Okay, it is a sort of problem solving, but not limited to that. So, okay, decision making skill is also a part of problem solving. Problem solving is also a part of decision making, but it's not everything. Okay, we will discuss about that, because there is one approach to decision making. One of the type of decision making skill is problem solving. We will discuss about that in detail. Now coming to types of decision making skills. I'm rushing ahead with the slides deliberately, so that we can have more and more time towards discussion and interaction, because I would like to hear from you, listen to your experience, and have a common ground. Okay, decision making is such an important skill that it requires many skill sets in order to take a good decision. So in order to take a good decision, you need different skills, different skill sets. Okay, one of them is problem solving, as I was telling you in the previous slides. Problem solving, what do you understand by problem solving? Can anybody put some light on it? What do you understand by problem solving? Can anybody put light on it?
Solving the particular problem that is in front of you, by using whatever knowledge you have and experience that you have in the past.
Okay, but why do you call something as a problem on the first hand?
Because it is in your way.
It is in your way. Anything that comes in your way, you will call it as a problem. You're going on a road and vehicles are coming by. Oh,
because we can't take any decision. That's why we call it a problem.
Madam, you're traveling, you're driving your car on the road, okay, on the highway, and you find that there is a lot of traffic coming on your way. Okay, so will you call it as a problem? Oh, it's so problematic in this country to drive a car, but you are also part of the problem. So how can you, what I want to say is, why do you assume something as a problem? My question is that. Why do we assume something as a problem?
It is something that is disturbing the smooth functioning.
Okay. Why can't we call it a challenge?
Because we always thought that it's a problem.
Okay. Our mind has been trained like that. Anything that comes our way, anything that creates an hindrance, creates a barrier is a problem for us. Okay, that is how we have been trained. Fine. So
Is it also that, if I may just add over there, that we don't call it as a challenge, because a challenge can be something which cannot be, solved by everybody, but problem solving is when you have a kind of a hindrance, you see the cause for it, and then you find a solution for it. I'm just
Correct.
if maybe.
Okay.
Correct. Because if you say the challenge, I mean, it sounds a little bit more far-fetched.
And it is possible that I may not have the solution for it, but of course, for the problem solving, like as you said in the traffic, okay, the problem is not that everybody is driving a car, but maybe because we can always look at an alternative route so that we are able to reach our decision. So that's a hindrance where it's causing me a delay. So
Okay.
I think what it is, and then find a shorter route and I try to move.
Okay.
Yeah. May I add one point here?
Please, madam, please.
But we get your point also, doctor.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So let us.
May I?
Please.
Yeah. See, whatever is against our will or our plan, that we tend to call a problem. Though, of course, I agree with your point that we should not call day-to-day activities or bit of the other one's normal activity is coming in our way. That should not be a problem.
And why I said that problem, once this psychology starts settling down in our mind that this is a problem, that is a problem, then I can only think of problem. Okay, so it is a sort of, it gives rise to a sort of negative vibe in our mind. So we should not assume everything as a problem. Okay, some of them are challenges. Okay, I definitely agree. I would agree with you that okay, there are some problems, but if you start assuming everything as a problem, out of these problems, some are challenges, some need just some patience, some are testing, so you have to divide them so that you don't feel burdened or overburdened by the mindset of problem. Okay, so that's why I said that. Let's not.
Yeah, I do agree, sir. Because with experience and aging, though aging is not compulsory here, with aging and having deeper learning and understanding the aspects of life, crest and trough, they are part of life. They are part of radiation. Everywhere there has to be crest and trough.
Yeah.
So we just enjoy the crest and we call trough a dark phase.
Yes.
Though that is necessary, and it's the dark phase which we face. We do not like to face it.
Yes.
If we start facing it, then of course we'll come out of all these human challenges which we call, and be above the what we call above the good and bad.
Okay. So yes,
Dr. Misra.
Yes, madam.
Sometimes there is no problem at all, but people are still worried because there is no problem. There are some people who keep worrying. They're used to being worried.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell. So why do you call something a problem as a problem on the first hand? Okay, fine. So anyone else would like to say? Okay. So what is problem solving? If professional, so we are talking about problem solving as a decision making skill. Okay, in the context of decision making skill, because if you go into problem solving, that is a psychological area. So many things can be discussed on that. We have got limited time. Okay, a professional need to be a problem solver. So any professional, you may be a driver in a bus, you may be a manager in a company, you may be a teacher inside a kindergarten classroom, you may be a professor in a PhD classroom, You may be a banker, you may be a politician, you may be an industrialist, you may be a daily laborer. Everybody, each and every professional need to be a problem solver. Without having this skill, you cannot take any decision. And if you are not able to take any decision, then you are a failure in life. Okay. So when I say you, it's not the person you. Okay. It is the second person I'm talking about. So this can be regarded as the number one skill to be an effective decision maker. So problem solving, you have to understand which are the real problems, or it is just the illusion of my mind. I'm considering everything as a problem. For example, suppose I'm taking a session. Our session is going on. What happens because of yesterday there was heavy rains and thunder and lightning was there, and the power was gone and everything. One of the computers, we are parallelly logging in from three computers because the admin is controlling something, I am controlling something. So sometimes the power the power is off. So what to do? Worry, what to do? Panic? No, you don't need to panic. Okay, that's why we have opened three systems parallelly, so that the at least in one of the systems the sessions will continue. There won't be any disruptions. So you have to weigh the situation. That skill you need to develop. Okay, if you start regarding everything as a problem, we see, because young teachers who join our college, our department, they come to us with lots of problems. Sir, today this student misbehaved with me. Sir, today particularly very young, those who have just completed their university degrees and they have joined us. Sir, this is the problem. Sir, there is no power. Sir, the students are shouting. Sir, I don't have in my classroom there is no what you say. What is the PowerPoint to show PowerPoint? What is the machine that we use? What is the machine that we use to projector? The projector is not. Yeah, projector is not working. Okay. There is no projector somewhere. There is no. So they come up with a lot of problems. I tell them. I keep on telling them, why do you consider these as problems? Why don't you understand that these are the challenges? These are the things you need to go through to brush yourself up as a teacher. You need not be worried about. If you are thorough with your subject, you don't need anything. You just can open your footnotes that you carry to the class and start speaking in front of the students. You need confidence. You need a lot of preparation. So if you start considering everything as a problem, then problem is a problem. It will remain as a problem. Okay. So that's why we first of all we have to come out of that mindset. If you don't come out of that mindset, then and trying to come out of that mindset is the first skill that you need to develop. And secondly, okay, there are certain issues, certain situations, certain events which are really problematic. There you have to learn what decision I need to take. As Ramona madam was telling about that student who fell down and injured a small kid, it's really an issue of grave concern. So that, okay, we are really in a problem. So what to do? To call the parents, we need to talk to a senior doctor, or we need to consult in a hospital, and that's the problem. So definitely life gives us such problems, such challenges. Okay, so decisions are also like problems, determining which option is the best. So you have to segregate what exactly you want to do. So for approaching to attaining problem solving, you need to have an analytical approach towards everything. Okay, without an analytical approach, if you don't analyze the situation, just jumping like a frog, okay, in an adverse situation, you cannot claim that, okay, this is a problem. No, you don't do that. Cool down. Just have an analytical approach. Settle down. Gautam Buddha had said, has once said that if you try to find a solution in the muddy water, you will not get. Always try to let time, give some time to it. Let the muddy water settle down, and when the crystal clear water floats up, then you can try to find a solution. So you will have to have that analytical approach. Each and every problem needs some time, needs some concentration, needs some focus. Then we can move ahead. Okay. Next type of decision making skill is collaboration. We live in such a world that we cannot behave like a hermit. We cannot just think that, okay, I will go into the deep forest in the Himalayas or in a mountain range, and I will do meditation, attain godliness, and I will be there. I will be self-content. We cannot do like that. We are working in groups. Even if you are not working in a group, you are in a group, because we are social beings. Human beings are social beings. So we live in a society, we live in a community, we live in a colony, we live in an apartment, we live in a society, we live with people. We are not aloof from others. So we are working in a group, and it is always advised to take decision in collaboration with all. You must consider others, whatever decision you take. You have to take them with you, because it is difficult for a person to take a decision alone. When you are concerned with others, you cannot take a decision alone. And you must have experienced that again and again in your family. If you are living with an extended family, joint family, even to decide which vegetable will be put in which curry, you have to take a call from others, isn't it? If you are staying in a joint family, to which college or which school you will admit to your son or daughter, you have to take a call. You have to consult others, collaborate with others. Okay. In situations where you are making a decision on your own, because certain decisions we take on our own, we are not always doing, particularly personal decisions we take on our own. Even then, it is suggested that consulting friends and peers in a constructive manner can help you to guess the best outcome of your decision. Either you are taking a decision in a group, or you are taking a decision for your own personal decision. Even then, it is suggested that consulting others. So when you talk to different people, when you consult with different people and take a decision, then you will be able to guess, okay, what will be the best outcome of your decision. You will know beforehand. You go and ask a student who has performed well in the examination. Once the student comes out of the examination, the students can pretty well say, may lie most of the times, but if the student is honest enough, will pretty well say how much exact marks is going to secure. We are all teachers, and you must have experienced that. So collaboration is a trusted friend. So collaboration is a trusted friend in case you are making a decision for a team, or when you are making a personal decision on your own. In each and every case, collaboration is a decision-making skill. The third and the most important type of decision-making skill is emotional intelligence. What do you understand by emotional intelligence? Can anybody tell me something about emotional intelligence? If they are from a related background, particularly advertisement, marketing, anyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sir, emotional intelligence is basically that you should not get affected by your emotions. You should not be carried away by your emotions when you take some decision. Then it will be that you are emotionally intelligent. How stable you are emotionally.
Okay. 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 May I know? I could not see your name. If you don't mind, what is your name, sir?
Sunny Seth.
Pardon?
Sunny Seth.
Achha, Sunny Seth. Okay, Sunny sir. Okay, yeah, now it is visible. Which car do you use, or which bike do you use?
Sir, I use WagonR.
WagonR. Why did you purchase that vehicle?
Sir, that was economic. I am using CNG WagonR vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
So that was economic. Actually, I stay, my home from my office is around 28-30 kilometers. So daily I have to commute around 60 kilometers. So that's why I went for something which will be more economic.
Where are you from, sir?
I'm staying in Sonipat, and my job is in Delhi in Jagan Institute of Management Studies.
Sonipat is quite okay. So now, why I ask you, have you ever been influenced by any advertisements to buy a particular
Not at all.
product? Not at all.
Advertisements I generally take as an awareness that it should make me aware of something, that yes, this thing exists. Then I analytically decide with all the pros and cons that what actually best suits me.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, why I was asking this question because earlier, uh, whenever employers or employees or the society used to gauge an individual on the basis of their IQ, intelligent quotient. Okay, so there are gradations in intelligent quotient starting from genius to dumb or buffoon. Okay, basing on the intelligence quotient score they obtain from a particular test or test. But recently in the sense for the last 50-60 years, the concept of emotional quotient has been sidelined. It has not been discarded, but it has been sidelined. And instead of intelligent quotient, nowadays everything is gauged on the basis of emotional quotient. So emotional quotient is nothing else but the degree of emotional intelligence as a person has. So nowadays you will find that the ad makers, the ad makers take use of it, make you use this emotional quotient quite well, pretty well. You will find that in almost all the child-related products, they use cute and handsome and appealing babies or appealing kids for the products, so that they can influence the minds of small kids, toddlers, or teenagers to such an extent that they come and demand, "Papa, we need this." You must be facing that in your home. Those who are married with kids, growing up kids, you must be facing that, "Papa, I need this. I need this pen. I need this copy. Classmate copy I need. Without classmate copy, I cannot study well." You must be facing the. I'm sure you will agree with it. You must be facing the same problem many times, right? So emotional quotient has become so what is emotional intelligence, or what is how it is related to decision making? It is the ability to observe and understand your own emotions. Okay, so you have to understand your own emotions, what really upsets you, what really makes you happy, how angry a person you are, or how a jolly a person you are, how much you can take jokes on yourself. Okay, how humorous you are. You have to understand your own emotions with relation to the surrounding environment, where you are, what you are doing, what is your position, what is your work, what is your job, and people around you, and manage stress. So emotional intelligence is the ability. It's how it is related to decision making. We'll come to that. It helps in communicating effectively, empathize with others, overcome challenges, and diffuse conflict. So emotional intelligence helps in these things. So for decision making, you need effective communication. For decision making, you need to empathize, you need to listen, you need to have good listening skills. For decision making, you need to overcome challenges, problems we were discussing about in the last slide. Then for decision making, you need diffusing conflict. So all these things are related. So one side of all these abilities is emotional intelligence, and the other side is decision making. That is how emotional intelligence is a decision making skill related. Okay, keeping the inner emotion under control always helps in taking a better decision. So when we are taking a decision, we should keep emotion aside. Many times we are forced to take decision in an emotional bent of mind, but it is always said that don't take a decision in the emotional bent of mind. If you take a decision in an emotional bent of mind, then you are reacting to a situation. But it is suggested that you should be responding to situations. To respond to situations, you have to be bereft of emotion. You have to keep emotions under control. For example, intuitive decision making. When we are taking intuitive decisions, it is our ability, intuition. What do you mean by intuition? Can anybody tell me intuitive decision making? Can anybody tell me what is it?
Your inborn, innate
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
The gut feeling that you have and you take a call on something.
Yeah. So we will in the next slide we will discuss about that gut feeling. Okay. So intuition, approaches to decision making. So these were the skills: problem solving, collaboration, emotional intelligence. These are the skills associated with decision making. Now we have to discuss about the approaches to decision making. What are the approaches? The approaches are intuition, as we said. The first approach is intuition. It is the internal or default response. So gut feeling. So we take a lot of decisions with the help of that to a particular situation or problem. This is motivated by your background knowledge, experience, and expertise. It has its own limitations in the decision making, as situations are not always related or similar. So intuition as an approach helps us many a times, but this type of decision making is subjective in nature, because it depends on the person, what sort of a person someone is, and according to that they can take a decision. Okay, and this is helpful for quick decisions. Intuitive decisions help us in quick decisions where we don't have much time to spare, and we can, but it is again subjective in nature. So what are the other approaches? Approaches to decision making? Reasoning is a more logical approach to a particular situation or problem. It is dependent on facts and figures. So when you are reasoning out, you go through the facts and figures. You take all the facts and figures. Okay, this is what the so I have got 70 students in my class. Out of the 70 students, 37 students have passed with 90% of marks. 21 students have passed with 80% of marks. Then 2 students have passed with 70% of marks, but 1 student has failed. So you consider all the, you take all the facts and figures, then you go to reason out. Okay, then you decide, okay, what can be the problem, what happened with 1 student, or what is the drawback. So you have to find out. You have to reason out depending on facts and figures. There is no role of instinct in this type of decision making. You cannot call that, okay, 1 student failed means that is a gadha. No, you cannot call that student a gadha because he failed. That student failed. You have to find out the reason. So you have to have a logical approach towards things. This type of decision making is objective in nature. So you act according to the situation, according to the motive, according to the purpose. That's why objective in nature, not subjective in nature. Okay, the next approach is both reasoning as well as intuitive. So when we combine both intuition and reasoning in the decision making process, it becomes more effective. So what happens, that's why it is suggested that neither you should rely more on intuition nor more on reasoning. You should have a balance. It helps in maintaining a balance between emotion and statistics. On one side of the story is emotion, your heart says, it controls the emotion, and statistics, your mind controls the statistics. So there must be a balance between, there must be a synchrony between your mind and heart, emotion and statistics. A decision making is a regular business. It's not a one-day affair. Okay, jo ho gaya yaar, aaj ho gaya, what today it is done, let us forget it. No, it's a continuous process. We keep on weighing the objective between intuition and reasoning, and most of the times it has been found that we naturally choose the combination. So as it is an ongoing process, decision making is a continuous process. We need to weigh, keep a balance between the two. Now coming to scope of demonstrating decision making. Can anybody tell me what are the different scopes available for decision making? Where you can demonstrate decision making? What are the different areas we get to?
Everywhere, in every phase of life.
That's what I have tried to list out. That's everywhere, in each and every phase of life. So decision making is something which you cannot avoid. Either it is personal life, or it is career option, or it is emotional being, or family, even in family, society, workplace, peer groups, friend circles, team, even for guidance. Can anybody tell me what is guidance in this demonstration decision making? Why I have included this word guidance? How guidance is an example of or is a part of demonstrating decision making? Can anybody tell why I've included this guidance?
Sir, for
Yes,
as
ma'am.
teacher, I had to guide the children. So
Yes.
many times they are using means we are only guiding them, taking their decision in the life.
Very good, very good. Really, I really appreciate this. See, many a times when we talk about guidance, many a times you must have faced the same thing. I also faced this problem. My son is growing up. He's in his 11-year-old kid. And if I try to tell him something, my dear son, this is not right, this is right, the other thing is right. If I give him an option, then he says, no, don't tell me. I'm not going to listen to you because my teacher has told me that this is right. Then I don't force. Okay. Yeah, because they have got a very strong bent of mind. And small children, particularly small children in schools, they look forward to their teachers because they don't understand what we are and what exactly we are doing, what exactly we are delivering. So their teachers, they look forward to them for guidance, as well as sometimes as parents, kids look forward to parents for guidance. So demonstrating decision making has a role in guidance. You need to demonstrate that because kids are sometimes confused. What to do? Papa, shall I take Hindi as an optional, or Odia as an optional, or French as an optional? Then you have to demonstrate decision making. You have to see what is the scope for different subjects, what they are going to do, what your kid is trying to do. So your guidance definitely has a role. Sorry, demonstrating decision making has got a role in guidance too. Okay. Then comes limitations to decision making. Even though the subject or word sounds very enticing, but in reality it has many limitations. When we were discussing about particularly when we go with this the meaning of the word demonstration, okay, proving your ability, making a point, facing challenges head on, being able to perform in difficult situations, adapting to fast-paced changes, presenting your skills, surging ahead of others, whatnot. Then at that time, you know, you're filled with a lot of energy, lot of boost, and lot of motivation, and you can rule the world. But you have to understand sorry, that each and every thing has got advantages as well as limitations. We have to work in tandem with them. We have to maintain the status quo with them. Okay, so even though the subject or word sounds very enticing, very interesting, okay, but in reality it has got many limitations. You must understand the limitations because we are talking about demonstrating decision making. So we must know when we are having a bike, we are riding a bike, there is a possibility of puncture, there is a possibility of other problems, okay, failure, there is a possibility of accident. So you must know what are the limitations. It is not economical in terms of time. When you are talking about demonstrating decision making, it takes time, it consumes a lot of time, so many decisions to take, and so many time is consumed in just taking decisions. When you will do work, when you will start working, okay, then compromise decisions. I would like compromise decisions. Can anybody tell me anything about compromise decisions? What exactly I am trying to I mean by compromise decision?
When you take a decision which actually you don't want to, but because that's the only option that you've left and you have no other option to do, then you compromise on something and take a particular decision.
Yeah. That's very true. Particularly when you're working in a team, working in an institution, you know that certain decision that is being taken collectively is not good. You're sure about it, but still you have to accept it because you don't have. So that is what is compromise decision is. Then subjective decision. Anybody can tell about subjective decisions? In our country, everything is subjective. Nothing is objective. Nobody cares about the purpose, motive, integrity. Nobody cares about this. Okay, everybody is subjective in nature. So subjective decision, depending on the person's ability, thought process, attitude, they take a decision. Doesn't matter what is the situation. Okay, so that's sometimes this is one of the biggest limitation in decision making. Many times we find authorities who are very, very subjective in nature. Okay, there are different rules for different persons. So that is what subjective decision is. You must have faced many times with this. Okay, decisions influenced by bias. What do you mean by bias?
Partiality.
Partiality is just one type of bias. Okay. Anyone else? What do you understand by bias?
Showing favorism?
Yeah, partiality and showing favorism are both the same. See, bias is not limited to showing favorism or partiality. Bias is, say, showing favorism or partiality is a part of bias. Okay, bias is a notion, is a notion, particularly in the inclining towards the negative side. Okay, having a strong negative notion for a person, place, thing, religion, culture, anything. Okay, and when we are showing favoritism or showing partiality, this is being influenced by that negative notion. Okay, if someone is a Telugu, then that person is a good person. I will only support that person. If someone is a Hindu, or so these are all bias. These are all there are bias related to that. I'm just trying to give example. I'm not trying to finger out someone. Okay, anyone in particular. I'm just giving an example. So decisions are influenced by bias. Many times you find people who are biased in nature. So we have to have an unbiased, balanced mind. Okay. Then another limitation is environmental factors. Many times we try to control the situation, but the situations are they are not under anybody's control. They flow on their own pace. Okay, so environmental factors also has create a lot of limitation in decision making. Then the most important part, future is always uncertain. Can anybody highlight on this? Why I have included this point? Future is always uncertain.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Here. Yes, actually, sir, long back, around 10 years ago, I took a decision whether I should opt for my PhD or I should buy a house.
Okay, okay, very good situation.
At that time, because for doing PhD, I was supposed to leave my job for 1 year and do the coursework.
Yes, yes.
Or if I have to buy my house, then I cannot afford to leave my job for coursework also. So
yes,
at that time, the property rates were increasing like anything in NCR. So I thought that if I'll not buy it now and I'll postpone it for 5-6 years, maybe the rates will double.
Okay.
So I can do the PhD later, but I should first buy my house.
Okay.
So at that time, I bought my house there and I postponed my decision for PhD. Now, after 10 years, at that time, every 2 years, rates were at 10 lakh increase, 20 lakh increase. So now future is uncertain. I thought maybe it will double, triple in 10 years. But now still I'm getting the same property at a lesser price. Because there were so many new constructions, new societies came up there. So the rates didn't increase. Demand is less and the availability is very
true, very true. You won't believe I have gone through the similar situation. Deciding on a property to buy a property. Okay. Yes, please continue. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's it. At that time, I bought my flat for around 45 lakh and still I can get the same flat at even lesser price, 41, 42, I can still get it.
Yeah, that I understand.
And I'm still in the last stage, final stage of my PhD.
Yeah, that is what
it's not yet completed. I'm in the final stage of completing my PhD.
Okay, I will wish you all the luck for that. So that is what future is always uncertain. We don't know what is we may take a very, very logical, intuitive, or both, or your problem solving, everything in taking into consideration, you may take a decision, but future is always uncertain. We don't know what is going to unfold in the, so what is really going to happen. So you must always keep that in mind. So preparing for the best, hoping for the best and preparing for the worst, you have to always keep this in mind. Future is always uncertain. We don't know. Okay, so the last but not the least, there are many other limitations. I don't want to discourage you. That's why I have just tried to put these points only. Everybody's responsibility is nobody's responsibility, particularly when you're working in a team, working in an organization, working, as I was sharing the story of the king who asked all the countrymen to, everybody's responsibility is nobody's responsibility. We don't have anything called collective responsibility, particularly in the context of our country. I don't know about other countries, but in our country, so that's one of the biggest problems. Oh, the decision has been taken by him. Let him execute. How does it make a difference to me? We are always aloof. We are always we keep ourselves aside. Okay, so let the team do it. So who is the team? I am an integral part of the team. I must understand that. If everybody starts thinking like that, no job, no work will ever take place. Okay, so these are the limitations that we have to work with while considering decision making. And the last but not the least, the previous session was by Dr. Punyashri Panda. So ethics in decision making. So the previous session was dedicated to ethics. Okay, I have, because when we are talking about demonstrating decision making, we should be aware of these things like limitations, scope and approaches and types of decision making skills. That's why I have included this skill, but somehow it coincided with her, so I won't elaborate much on the ethics part of decision making, but I have to tell a few words because I have included. It is difficult to implement ethics in decision making. Madam was discussing a lot of things about ethics and her session was really mind-blowing, but it is really difficult to implement ethics. In order to be ethical, you have to first get rid of the unethical options, and getting rid of the unethical options is the most difficult step in maintaining ethics. So just to add something, there are three approaches in decision making, like utilitarian, rights and justice approach. If Madam has discussed about these points, I will not elaborate on this. Otherwise, you want me to elaborate on this? We are overshooting time. We are already overshooting time.
No, sir, we can skip this.
We can skip this. Okay, thank you. So what happens? The above criteria are sometimes self-contradictory and conflicting. Hence, maintaining ethics in decision making requires a lot of commitment to the process and unbiased approach. So if you want to be really ethical in decision making, you have to be committed to the process of decision making. You must have an unbiased approach, without which it is really difficult to take a decision in an ethical setting. Okay, this is what this is not the end of what demonstrating decision making. This is just, I have tried to compile few things out of my experience from different books and different sources. So decision making is a skill, then types of decision making, then approaches to decision making, then scope of decision making, limitations and ethics. Any questions? Okay, can we go to the task now? Quickly on this task, list out the difference you will have after going through this session. At the beginning of the session, you discussed about an event that you had the opportunity of demonstrating a decision. Suppose you have gone through this session. List out the difference you will have after going through this session. Can anybody share their views on this after going through this session? Anyone? Or all of you are tired?
Hello, sir, may I?
Please, madam, please.
Sir, now I want to convert any problem into a challenge. And I'll try my level best to point out the solution in my best manner and to take the right decision accordingly.
Wow, great. Thank you, Pankaj, madam.
No, sir, actually, one thing is there. I am Dr. Shalini. Due to some network issue,
Oh,
I
sorry.
joined by this one.
It's showing Pankaj.
Yes. Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you, Shalini, madam. Anyone else? Yes?
Yeah, the difference will be not to react, but to respond.
Yeah, very
take
good.
decisions with emotions, but take a balanced decision as a response rather than reacting to any situation or any problem.
Okay, 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 okay. Yes.
Sir, it is said that the decision making should be balanced. That means it should be intuitive as well as reasoning also should be involved in it.
Yes, yes, you have to have reasoning. Without reasoning, you should not take a decision. Very good, very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yeah,
Problem should not be considered as problem. It is
yes,
normal. Take it as normal course of life.
yes, yes. This is the best outcome you can think of. Problem should not be taken as a problem because life is full of problems. When we go for work, start from home, trying to buy vegetables from a vendor, getting the grocery, cooking your own food. In each and every step, you are bound to face problems. It is life is not a bed of roses, rather it is a bed of thorns. So we have to accept it. And once you start accepting it and adapting it, everything will be, there will not be a problem. You will not see problem. Okay, you will only see challenges. Okay, you will learn how to overcome those challenges. Okay, anyone else would like to add something? Okay, so I think we should stop here. Before stopping, any questions regarding the session? Any doubts? Any clarifications? Not regarding the FDP, only about the sessions. Any questions? No questions? Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your patient hearing. And
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So see you tomorrow at 10:30. Tomorrow's first session is at 10:30. So please join the link, which I will be definitely sharing it with you. Okay. So can we stop here?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Bye. Have a nice
Please send